Hello and welcome to another episode of Put Me in Coach podcast, episode 16. And today we are going to talk about the Diamondbacks versus Phillies game 3. And the Diamondbacks did win this game, winning the series over the Phillies. Lineup today, Vargas is actually hitting first, and if you notice of my notes, he was playing second base in the whole game and stuff, and then we kind of switch couple players around on the field and at bat as well. So that's why you can see he also played left field as well. Jose Fernandez was playing first base, and again, he switched to third base later on. James McCain playing catcher, and then pretty much of the rest is the same. And South Marte did not play today, and South. That's why you see Vargas up on the mound on the lineup as first and stuff. But Marte did came up at plate for a pitch hitter for Nolan Arenado, and I thought that was like a little bit confused, like why did they do that and stuff? Because Nolan Arenado went 0 for 2, so I thought that was kind of like an interesting why they pulled Nolan Arenado and then putting Jose Fernandez at third and stuff, because Marte did came in while he came up to bat. He played second base. That's why Vargas went to left field and stuff. And the person played left field was Tim Tawa and stuff. So kind of took Tim Tawa out and stuff. Also for Tim Tawa, when he also come to play back-to-back pitch hitter when Marte came up to play, even Adrian Del Castillo actually went and came up as a pitch hitter, and that's pretty much him for that. But he was hitting for Tim Tawa, and again, I was a little confused of what Ravello was gonna do here and stuff. Like, I understand you're putting a pitch hitter in and stuff, but like, why you took Nolan Arenado and Tim Tawa at this point and stuff? You know, it would make sense for Marte to come in to, hit for Vargas because he's playing second base, just replace him and stuff. And then for Adrian Del Castro, for catcher, or maybe, DH in some ways and stuff. But in some ways enough, we wouldn't get the runs what these guys did and stuff. So he won a bold move, and he got correctly and stuff. And then later on, he didn't bat and stuff, but Lucan Baker came in to play first base at the very end of the game and stuff. So that actually happened. So just a little change, Rue and stuff, a little bit and stuff. So so I would definitely say the batting was okay. We got here and there and stuff. Again, I think there's just times where enough of people are not doing so well. Thomas, Barossa, Perdomo. Again, it's just Tim Tawa. Just they all didn't do so well in this game and stuff, and the rest did because everybody got one or two hits and stuff. Even Marte, obviously he was 0-0 because he got a walk and stuff. So that's the only thing from that and stuff. But I do like the people are absolutely getting base hits. Same thing like for Nolan Arenado. Like, he went 0 for 4 like 3 times in a row in games he's been playing, and he finally got a base hit and stuff, and fortunately got some runs for the team as well. So that's huge for him to do and stuff. But yeah, just not too much and stuff. I like to see more, but sometimes enough, you just gotta take what the team is gonna give to you. Yeah, starting with pitching wise, Zach Gallen did pretty good in the beginning and stuff. At the end, it kind of he had a little pickle in the at the fifth or like the sixth inning and stuff. So he did okay and stuff. Not the best start for Gallen, but I would definitely say he did okay and stuff. He went 6 innings, gave up 8 hits. That's the where like I just don't like that. The Phillies just keep hitting off of him. 2 strikes, 1 walk, and gave up 3 runs. And so yeah, it didn't look good for him, to be honest and stuff. But you know, it's our ace, and obviously you gotta think about the Phillies offense. They're a really good team as well. So we did good against their um, uh, ace as well. And but time's enough of things are gonna happen and stuff. I actually have 2 pitchers for the Phillies because the what I specifically had, Andrew Painter should absolutely start the game and stuff because somehow he had like some thing going on with his head or something. So he didn't start the game, but he came later in the game. So Zach Pop actually started the game, and he went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, struck out 1, no walks, and gave up 1 run. And then Andrew Painter came in for 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, struck out 7, walked once, and gave up 1 run and stuff. And then the rest was just bullpen and stuff. Just from that. It's kind of weird. Andrew Painter is a lot nasty than Zach Pop. Not gonna lie on that and stuff. He's also young, even both of these pitchers. But Painter, he might be good for the Phillies in the future and stuff. He looked like a really good starter, young pitcher. And then the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, again, now I'm hearing the name again. It's weird how language and spelling and saying words and stuff is weird. How words are just so hard to pronounce. Jonathan Lycia. That is how I'm hearing from other people, okay? I thought I'm just like I'm trying to do my best of like saying the word like his last name like La Siskia, it's like Lacia, like where is the O and the A at? Like like I get like the A is like a different like pronounce to it and stuff, but like it's just like you're skipping couple like letters in the name and stuff. So it's just so strange. I'm sorry I botch his last name every single time he comes to the plate and stuff, but now I figure out enough how to say it and stuff. So he came up to pitch. Taylor Clark, Kevin Ginkel, Ryan Thompson, and Paul Sewald for this save and stuff. And I would still talk about Ryan Thompson, but we'll go with that with the scoring and stuff. We're not there. Yeah, actually, we are there yet now. To think about it. I also still want to talk about pitching. Bullpen is doing great. I think that's the only thing and stuff. Like, I'm always worried with the bullpen because you never know, anything could happen in a bad way and stuff. But overall, they're pretty solid and they're doing their job, and that's what I want to see because I don't want the opponent teams to get some runs off of them. Then enough of a good starter doing good in the game, and then the bullpen doing terrible at the very end and cannot win the game and stuff, because that's their most biggest problem they had from last year. So I'm just hopefully glad enough of they're doing their job and actually getting some outs, so we can actually do win some games and stuff. Just overall, Gallen did great. I would say okay. He did okay. I would definitely say that. And stuff. Not the best he can and stuff, but that's that Gallen. You never know what you're gonna get from him, and so that's pretty much of that. Scoring right now. James McCain did a RBI double to make it 1-0, top of the second. So it's crazy enough of our catchers are doing stuff. Trey Turner hit a 2 home run to tie the game up to 2, bottom of the sixth, and then Bryce Harper also got a RBI double to make it 3-2, bottom of the sixth. That's where they took Gallen out and stuff. And then Jose Fernandez hit a RBI single to tie the game up at top of the eighth, I meant to say, and stuff. That was huge and stuff. And then Adrian Del Casio RBI single to take the lead 4-3, top of the eighth, and we won the game. The score 4-3, our record 9-7. Love to see that and stuff. So yeah, it's just like the most biggest thing enough of to having a comeback, snakes alive all the way. I love the start. I hate again of enough of the game, how it goes and stuff. We wish enough of not giving up runs and stuff, but good enough for the Diamondbacks to have a comeback and honestly win the game and stuff. So good on the offense to do that and stuff. But the most of the crazy thing I really want to talk about is when Ryan Thompson came up to the mound and stuff. Fortunately, I believe Brandon Marsh got walked from Ginkle and stuff, because I know Kevin Ginkle and Ryan Thompson came up in the same inning and stuff, and Ginkle didn't look pretty good and stuff, and then fortunately Ryan Thompson came in again in that same inning, and then basically getting some outs and getting out the inning by not giving any runs. So pretty good for Ryan Thompson to do that and stuff. He pretty much saved Kevin Ginkle's butt right now and stuff. But the most of the crazy time we got out the inning because of Brandon Marsh somehow and stuff. I don't know what he thought and stuff. It's just I wouldn't say, Brandon Marsh gave the win for the Diamondbacks and stuff. I'm not saying that. He definitely helped the Diamondbacks, getting out of the inning and stuff. Like, not gonna lie about it and stuff. I'm not gonna be a jerk and say, like, thanks, like, Brandon Marsh for that or whatever and stuff. I'm not doing that. Like, it's his fault and stuff. And those are the things that happen, but you gotta have some focus of what you're doing and also what's the game going on and what your other teammates are doing as well, because this is huge and stuff. I would definitely say of enough. If I was Brandon Marsh, I would be mad at myself because it was your fault. Like, the whole thing was your fault, and fortunately enough, Garcia didn't even help you as well and stuff. So it's on both of them and stuff. On the Phillies for getting out of the inning when Thompson was pitching and stuff. What really happened was Brandon Marsh wants to steal second base and stuff, and he did that twice and it didn't work. The first time Garcia fouled it off and stuff, and especially enough, shouldn't be a strike and stuff. It should be like a ball because the ball was like way out of the zone, and he still swung it and fouled it off, and should be like 3-0, a guy on second or whatever and stuff. But fortunately, that didn't go that way and stuff. And then he was trying to do again and stuff, and fortunately enough, he didn't see So he went fully on stealing second base and stuff. Like obviously he got a good run, good timing to do it and stuff. Brandon Marsh did his job, but fortunately enough, he didn't do his job by understanding his teammate is doing at the plate as well, and pretty much put you in a pickle to get out the inning and stuff. Where Garcia still swung while Brandon Marsh went trying to steal second base, and fortunately that ball did not go foul and stuff, and it was pop up in the infield and stuff, and then somehow enough, Marsh was at second base when the pop up was happening, so he left so early and stuff. Didn't even realize enough of Garcia did anything and stuff. And to that point enough, Garcia kind of messed up Marsh in a way and stuff to swing the bat and stuff and then pop it up for an out and stuff. And then Ryan Thompson was literally at first base, just to get the out at first to get a double play. And Brandon Marsh was doing his best to get back to first base, but fortunately enough, didn't get there at the time for the double play and stuff. So good for the Diamondbacks and stuff, but bad for the Phillies. So it just didn't go the Phillies' way, and Brandon Marsh or whatever and stuff. Like, that's on you. Like, I'm sorry, I'm blaming on you, but you gotta understand of enough of you made your own mistake into a double play and stuff. So I thought that was super weird and stuff. And don't say enough of oh, Perdomo got you or whatever and stuff. If he did, it's still gonna look bad on Brandon Marsh. Still, not gonna lie, and stuff. It just looks so bad on him and stuff. He went so early, on the timing and stuff, and yeah, it's just so. Yeah, I thinking that was just a crazy time. I was like, what is Marsh doing? How did they guys, 2 outs, right away of a double play? And, what is Marsh doing? And I realized enough of, oh, he wants to steal. He really wants to get that, and he can't get it. So that is that and stuff. And also for Ryan Thompson to get hyped to getting that double play and stuff. If fortunately enough, this is a positive on Brian Kryson, or is that Kraplin or whatever and stuff, the pitching coach and stuff. This is a positive. I'm telling you, it's a positive. Just what I'm seeing and stuff. I'm not liking the vibe when he come up the mound and stuff. Just to talk to the pitcher and stuff. I don't like that. I wish that would change and stuff. I wish he can kind of little hurry and then just walking and having no emotion and stuff, just he just looks boring when he comes out to the mound and stuff. And I just don't like that vibe from him and stuff. I already talked about this so many times and stuff. Honestly enough, this guy is a good person. He's pretty much a very nice and probably sweet or caring person and stuff. But fortunately enough, it's just I don't know, I'm saying enough, he doesn't look enough of he doesn't enjoy his job. I got a feeling he does. He's working for the Diamondbacks and also being a coach for a MLB team, it's excited and all stuff. He's doing his job. I understand what he's doing and stuff. It's just the only biggest thing I don't like him and generally of enough of him coming to the mound with no, he looks just sad as heck and stuff. He's walking and taking his time and stuff. I like you to kind of like rush a little bit, get some excited and stuff. Don't put that energy in the pitching wise and stuff. Like I don't want that and stuff. So, you know, but fortunately enough, what I saw today made it a little bit change from him and stuff. I'm not gonna say anything more negative. I already know my negative on him when he comes out the mound and stuff. But today, yeah, it changed and stuff. So fortunately for it, exciting from him, what I saw is when that play from the double play, they showed a scene in the dugout and stuff, and he got so excited. He got up, he was slamming his hand from the fence where he's at and stuff, and just super excited and stuff. I love to see that. I love it. And so it's like, all right, okay, you're growing on me, man. Like, I understand that, but come on, how about you show that when you go out the mountain, please? I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Come on. But good for him. Just to show that and stuff. I'm gonna stop talking about this guy and stuff. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. Stop doing this thing. Come on, 200 Batman. You gotta do better than this. Baseball is a crazy sport. Just let the person just do his job every single time. He's doing his job. That's all you gotta do. And the MVP for today is Jose Fernandez. This is his third on this podcast and stuff. So good for him. I was having a hard time of who's the MVP today and stuff. And fortunately enough, he went 2 for 4 and stuff. So 2 hits and stuff, and getting some RBIs, tying the game up with a huge to do that and stuff. If he wouldn't do that, and then Adrian would absolutely tie the game up anyways and stuff. So for him to tie the game up really did change the game for the Diamondbacks to get the win and stuff. So I gave that to Jose Fernandez and stuff. So good win. We won the series over the Phillies. I was a little terrified because, Phillies are a good team. My boy's on the other side and stuff. So it was a good win. We are going to Baltimore, I believe. Maybe they're going back to Arizona. I'm not 100% sure. I just know they're playing the Orioles next for the next series and stuff for tomorrow and stuff. I don't know who's pitching, but fortunately enough, I just have a feeling like it's going to be Ryan Nelson, I believe. That's just my guess because I don't 100% know what's going on, but that's what it is. Hopefully you guys enjoy the episode. Have a nice day, and thank you for watching.